Well, we made it out here to El Cajon, California, home of Taylor Guitars.
One, two, three, four.
Welcome everyone to Discover This. Well, today we're doing something that I've been wanting to do for quite a while, and that's tour the Taylor Guitar Factory. And so hopefully this is something all you guitar aficionados will enjoy. But before we go across the street and check in, let's go check out where Taylor Guitars got their start. And Taylor Guitars got their start here in the city of Lemon Grove, California. And just a couple blocks past this giant lemon is where it all began. So back in 1970, this building here at 7936 Lester Avenue in Lemon Grove, this was the American Dream Co-op, owned by a guy by the name of Sam Radding. Maybe it's Rating, but I think it's Radding. It's a place where entrepreneurs honed their skills. But there were some other employees here, some students from San Diego State University working here part-time, helping repair stringed instruments and things like that. Those fellows were named Bob Taylor, Kurt Listug, and Steve Shimmer. And they would help make repairs on different instruments. Well, at some point in time, Deering banjos needed more room. They needed to expand. They were getting popular, needed more manufacturing space. So they packed up and moved to a new facility, not too far from here actually. Well, those other employees, Bob, Kurt, and Steve, all went together and they just made a proposal to Sam, the building owner, and asked if they could buy the building. They had their sights set on designing and building guitars. And on October 15th, 1974, they bought what had become known as the American Dream Musical Manufacturing Company, and they changed the name to Westland Music Company. And here's a picture from day one, October 15th, 1974. So this is where Taylor Guitars started and operated for many years. The early years were pretty lean. Bob Taylor even lived in his van for a while, and they were barely able to make their monthly bills. Kurt was their businessman, and Bob handled design and production. And they eventually started selling their guitars through different retailers. It took some time, but Taylor Guitars eventually got to the point where they needed a larger production facility, which is when they moved out to El Cajon, California. So just a little bit about the tour itself. The tours are free. They only do them on Fridays, 10 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. And you have to go online to the Taylor Guitar website, and then you get a ticket that you can either print out or keep on your phone. And from there, we'll see what the deal is once we get in here. So when you come into the visitor center, you check in, you get a visitor's badge, and then you're free to walk around the visitor center. So they have t-shirts, hats, all sorts of accessories, guitar picks, straps, all that kind of stuff for sale. But the unique thing is you can take any of these guitars off the wall here, and that black and white one, both of them are 10-string guitars, but you can take any of these guitars off the wall and play them. So you don't want to go all Pete Townsend on them, I guess, but you can take them down and strum a few and see what tone you like and what style you like. Now the CEO of Taylor Guitars is Andy Powers, and he has his own company called Powers Electric, and he makes electric guitars. They're actually built at the Taylor factory, but it's a whole separate entity. But anyway, you can plug in an electric guitar in this room here and have at it. They also have a separate room for acoustic, in case you want to try your luck at Stairway to Heaven or something. But it's very nice that they let you, you can play any of these guitars that are on the wall. and you can also see how much they cost. So varying prices depending on the wood, the style, all that kind of thing. So, and this is just room 1. There's a whole nother separate room with another bunch of guitars that we'll head over towards. And this would be the second room. Almost like a museum, but a hands-on museum, I guess, if you will. And these are some of their newer models right here. So you can take those down and play them. But there's a lot of history on these walls about the wood and where they get the wood. And one of the unique things about Taylor guitars is they try not to leave too much of a footprint, as it were. So they actually started using wood that had fallen on the ground that people were just going to basically throw away. You know, it was just going to rot. And they started using that wood. So they don't always just cut trees down and things like that, but they also do replant. So it's they've won some awards for their environmental efforts. But you can just see the different styles of wood they use, and they come from all over the world. Mahogany and maple, a lot of people use. And there's different woods, sometimes for the neck, sometimes for the body. This is Bob Taylor's second guitar that he built when he was in high school. And it's on display there. So he was in high school, he built that. And this is the Liberty Tree guitar, taken from a tree from back in the Revolutionary days. You can read that statement there, all about it. But also on display. Can't play those two. Then you have to wear goggles on the tour if you don't have prescription glasses, and they give you headphones and a receiver because it's kind of hard to hear in a lot of places. So the headphones and the receiver, the tour guide can tell you what's going on. And this is where they acclimate the wood. There's a couple different places, but this is where it starts inside. They start acclimating the wood to the climate here, because again, that comes from different places in the world. So they have to acclimate it to El Cajon, California. And here they are cutting out some of the body. But all the wood is stored, marked, depending on what kind of guitar they're going to be building. You know, they also do custom guitars, so some people want specific kinds of wood. But it does get fairly noisy in places. Again, just more storage, samples, whatnot. And this is where they start, they do some laser etching on the fretboards. And they kind of show you that process. And they actually pass some of them out so you can see the detail in the work they do. One of the other things that Taylor Guitars is known for is their quality control, and there's a lot of it. This is one of the finishing areas, so you can see how he's examining, making sure the finish came out just right. Just more guitars that have been finished. So let's take just a moment away from the tour and go over some people who play and endorse Taylor guitars. How about a guy named Ben Harper? Great musician. There's also Jason Mraz, local San Diego guy. How about the band America? There's also Charlie Starr from Blackberry Smoke, the Goo Goo Dolls. Greg Allman used to play Taylor guitars. Jewel plays Taylor guitars, as does Patrick Simmons from the Doobie Brothers. So back at it, this is where they start forming the necks, and they have machines obviously cut the holes for the tuning pegs. So that sign right in the middle there, that tells you you can take pictures and video here. In this particular room, there are places where you cannot. Those bags are filled with sawdust, and they recycle their sawdust, goes to compost places. That's another acclimation area where they acclimate the wood. How about some others that play and endorse Taylor guitars? There's this guy named Paul McCartney. Have you ever heard of him? One of my favorites, Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath. The White Buffalo, Zach Brown. There's also a band, very unique band called Native Howl. They kind of classify themselves as thrash grass, sort of a high-speed bluegrass. They've opened for Black Label Society, Gwar, Corrosion of Conformity, Clutch, people like that. There's also this new gal on the scene, somebody by the name of Taylor Swift. She plays Taylor guitars. In fact, she's been playing Taylor guitars since she was 18 years old. When her 2008 album Fearless was released, she came out here to the Taylor Guitars facility and actually did an informal performance for the employees here. And in 2009, Taylor Guitars introduced the Baby Taylor model for beginning guitarists. So, quite a good endorsement there. You wander from building to building. You go through a couple different buildings, but more finishing on the necks, as you can see. Another finishing area. And then you finish back up at the visitor center, where your tour guide generally kind of goes over some of the different guitars that are there. And again, you can take them down and play them. All right, so the tour is over. I thoroughly enjoyed that. If you ever have the chance to come out here to El Cajon and you can do this tour on a Friday, I encourage you to do it. It's well worth your time. Even if you don't play guitar, I think you'll find it fascinating, just the amount of work that goes into making these guitars and the design, and just to get the tone they have and things like that. But this facility here in El Cajon is their main one. They also have a smaller facility in Tecate, Mexico, and then a distribution facility in the Netherlands. And then as of 2021, this is all employee owned. Taylor Guitars is. So anyway, I found it totally enjoyable. I really encourage you to do this if you ever have the opportunity. So thanks for watching. Thanks for taking the time, and we'll see you on our next one.